welcome back to the Bard Review, the perfect start to your Sunday morning here at the Barn Theatre. I'm Benjamin Collins and welcome to Series 2 of Bard from the Barn. It's very exciting. We hope you've missed us as much as we have missed you. Of course, I'm delighted to be joined as ever by the series co-producer, Aaron Sidwell. Aaron, welcome back. What have you been doing with yourself since we last saw you?
I guess I've been having a bit of a normal life. No, I'm just kidding. I have no normal life at all. In this lockdown is mad. But it's awesome to be back. I've really missed doing this. I've certainly missed doing this show with you, Ben. It's been a hole in my life. Do you think that you'll be able to talk like a normal person now we've had some time away?
I doubt it, but let's be honest, would you have me any other way, sir?
No, I don't think I would. I think your inability to speak is pure comedy.
That's cool. Well, hopefully, we sorted out a few auto cues and things like that. I'm looking at you because you're in the corner of my eye, and I'm going to mess up again. And speaking of comedy, by the way, we're doing something slightly different in Series 2, aren't we?
Yeah, we are indeed. Every week of Series 2 of Bard from the Barn has been given a specific theme. So we have Tragedy Week, History Week, Lovers Week, Ladies Week, Italian Week, of course, Lesser Known Gems Week, and starting you off in style, this week we bring you Comedy Week.
Fantastic.
Now, an interesting thing with Shakespeare's comedies is that the word comedy didn't actually mean then what it does today. Yeah. A comedy back then was just a play that ended happily for the good guys.
Well, let's just be clear. Should we expect some utter hilarity this week?
Oh, I think it's important to remember that Bard from the Barn will always bring you the hilarity. Cool. And speaking of hilarious, it's time we get our first guests on the show.
Let's do it.
We now welcome Dan Smith and Sam Butters, who played Sir Toby Belch and Sir Andrew Aguecheek in Twelfth Night, directed by Sean Turner. Gents, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Hey, guys. Dan, now I was wondering if you could talk us through the logistics, let's say, of filming this. Does it seem quite complex? I mean, we had the Zoom call, the WhatsApp call, the whole works. How tricky was it?
Well, there was a lot of things going on. You're absolutely right. It took us a few trial runs to time it all out, make sure it was all working. Particularly actually getting Katie involved, who was playing Mariah. She wasn't in the Zoom calls we were doing. So having to sort of text her at the same time and say, we're going to start filming now. So if you can just call in immediately when we press send, and then Sam and I would sort of hit record on our various, we had like 2 or 3 devices each. It took, as I say, like 3 or 4 trial runs, even to start working out what needed to be where. But once we had it set up, it was fairly smooth.
That's bonkers. And did you get in the sort of a theatre play mindset eventually with all the technology? Did it take a while?
Do you know what? It did. It did feel like sort of going into a performance each time. Obviously, there's no calls or anything like that, so you're sort of going straight on. But it was quite a fun way of having to work with people. You're trying to deal with the fact there's a bit of a delay going on as well, and making sure you can really see and hear each other all the time. But it really did feel quite natural. It felt like just having a conversation, just like we're doing right now, really.
So I've got a question for you, Sam. It looked like you and Dan had been working together for years. What was this process for you guys like, working together, and for you being so new to the industry, of course?
Do you know what? It was the best way that I could have started going into the industry. I was very blessed with who I got to be partnered with. Dan's obviously amazing. Sean was great. And obviously Katie came in afterwards. No, but for real, it did feel like we just hit the ground running. We had about 3 rehearsals that we all really just took our own initiative and went with. And we had great fun on the night as well. We spent the whole evening kind of just having a bit of a muck about, really, and seeing what we could do and what magic we could create.
It looked it looked ridiculous, to be honest. And you could just see, and I myself have worked with Dan, and so I could just see the fun that Dan was having working with you, because I've literally been on stage with him.
You've seen that happen, yeah.
I've seen that happen. So it was it was really cool, and I think one of the amazing things with series 2 compared to series 1 is that merge of kind of seasoned professionals and people that are just starting out. And so to see these kind of blossoming relationships that we will see throughout the series was really, really, really special. And you stepped in on another video for us as well, right, Sam? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that was very last minute, but we did Timon of Athens. I think maybe someone pulled out, so had to sort of just threw me a WhatsApp. Was like, "We need your help," and I was like, "You know what? Great! Like, that's more to do." And but that was a completely different experience to this one. This one we were very sort of like chilled out, and we just were like, let's just have fun with this. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's play and see how over the top we could go with it. And with Timon of Athens was a completely different story. That was very like technique. Let's get the rhythms down. Let's in like there's a space of like 46 hours or whatever it was, and like, no, we have to get it rhythmically right. We have to really land what we need to land. So comparing it from this to that was, I mean, I was blessed because I got both sort of sides of it. I got this really sort of, this is what this industry can be like, but also this is why we do it as well.
All right, on
Amazing.
that, let's go straight to the video. Here is Dan Smith and Sam Butters as Sir Toby and Sir Andrew in a scene from Twelfth Night.
Hey, Sir Toby Belch. Hey, how now, Sir Toby Belch?
Sweet Sir Andrew. Accost, Sir Andrew, accost.
What's that?
My niece's chambermaid.
Oh.
Good Mistress Accost. I desire better acquaintance.
My name is Mary, sir.
Ah, good Mistress Mary Accost. Just give me like 1 second or something. Yeah, cool. Okay.
You mistake, knight. Accost is front her, board her, woo her, assail her.
By my troth, I would not undertake her in this company. Oh, is that the meaning of accost?
Fare you well, gentlemen.
And you let part so, Sir Andrew, thou mightst never draw sword again.
And you part so, mistress, I might never draw sword again.
Fair lady, do you think you have fools in hand?
Sir, I have not you by the hand.
Marry, but you shall have, and here's me hand.
Now, sir, thought is free. I pray you, bring your hand to the buttery bar and let it drink.
But wherefore, sweetheart? What is your metaphor?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, what's your jest?
A dry jest, sir. Marry, now I let go your hand, I am barren.
Oh, knight, thou lackst a cup of canary. When did I see thee so put down?
Never in your life, I think. Unless you see canary put me down. No, methinks I have no more wit than a Christian or an ordinary man has. I'll ride home tomorrow, Sir Toby.
A pourquoi, my dear knight?
Yeah. Hey, Siré. What is pourquoi? Do or not do?
Why? Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh, had I but followed the arts?
There's life in it, man.
I'll stay a month longer.
Hey!
God, I am a fellow with the strangest mind in the world. I delight in masks and revels, sometimes altogether.
Art thou good at these kickshaws, is knight?
As any man in Illyria, whatsoever he be, under the degree my betters, and yet I will not compare myself with an old man.
What is thy excellence in a galliard, knight?
Faith, I can cut a cape.
And I can cut the mutton to it.
Yes. Do the cape. Keep it. And I think I have the back trick, strong as any man in Illyria. Back trick.
Where are these things hid? Wherefore do these gifts a curtain before him? Why does thou not go to church in a galliard and come home in a coranto? My very walk would be a jig. I would not make water but in a sink apace. What does thou mean? Is it a world to hide virtues in? I did think, by the excellent constitution of thy leg, that you were formed under the very star of a galliard.
'Tis strong, and it does in different way in a flame-coloured stock. Hey. Do we set about some revels?
What shall we do else? Let me see thee caper.
Oh.
Higher!
We are now delighted to welcome Dan Phillips, who directed this week's Midsummer Night's Dream. Dan, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Dan. I wanted to say this is such a clever spin on a really famous scene from Shakespeare. As we know, a lot of people have been unable to see their children during this time, and here we have two parents at war over it, I suppose. Was this an idea from the get-go for you, or was it very much a collaboration of minds between yourself, Yvonne, and the wonderful Dorothy?
No, we had quite a few ideas sort of being thrown around. We looked at the lovers, the mechanicals. We kind of tried to look at each character and what they offered and what the story might be. And it was in probably our first sort of video chat that we had, all three of us, that we actually, though that couple, such a famous couple, and actually this element of that speech, that stuff of this young boy, isn't necessarily the most remembered or most focused on element of that couple. And we thought it all started from this idea that, this couple they're quite a toxic couple anyway. And if you take a couple which isn't working and then separate them into different households and try and stay together, which is kind of what the government at the time were offering as a way of living. And we thought that would push their relationship the furthest. And then when we started to discuss the importance of that boy, and I haven't got kids of my own, but we were talking about all my nephews and nieces and godchildren, and how some of them are split up into very different sort of quote unquote non-traditional family units. How on earth are those units surviving when the government is saying do not move, do not go outside? And all, if you saw goes back and forth of what he actually was trying to say about how parents could deal with children. It was all so confusing. You just think that pressure on parents must have been so heightened. And so we thought we just have to talk about that. It has to be the one. And that then got the ball rolling, got us all talking about it and excited about telling that story, I guess.
I had it myself, when they made the announcement. I was sat there on the sofa and I just turned to my partner and I just said, does that mean I'm not going to see my kids for the next potentially 3 months. And at the time, that's what it was. And I remember Michael Gove getting up in the morning and going on Good Morning Britain and saying, yep, no, that's it, you can't do that. And then 5 minutes later going, oh wait, no, I was wrong, you can. And so there was extreme mixed messaging, but I was there for a while, and I just thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to see I'm going to be locked in a house, and I can't even spend time with my children. That's going to be awful. We loved this video. It was really fresh and original for us, and quite interesting seeing Midsummer Night's Dream, was something that we all think of as this magical kind of comedy, actually really getting to the root of some of the dilemmas that are going on there. So this is Yvonne Jones and Dorothea Zorich as Oberon and Titania in Midsummer Night's Dream, directed by the wonderful Dan Phillips.
You must stay at home. You should not be meeting friends. If your friends ask you to meet, you should say no.
So if your two individuals, two halves of the couple, are currently in separate households, ideally they should stay in those households. They should just test the strength of their relationship. We want people to stay in their household units primarily.
Then I must be thy lady. And I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of a Corin, sat all day playing his pipes of corn, and versing love to Amoris Philida.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Perigenia, whom he ravished, and make him with fair Agile break his faith with Ariadne and Antiopia?
These are forgeries of jealousy.
We should not have children moving between households. I know this is an emotionally fraught time and a difficult one.
If you don't follow the rules, the police will have the powers to enforce them.
And never since the middle summer spring have we met on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved fountain or rushy brook, or in the beach margin of the sea, to dance our ringlets in the whistling winds. Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs which, falling inland, have made every pelting river so proud that they've overborne their continents. The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and the crows are fatted with marrying flock. The nine men's morris is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green for lack of tread are undistinguishable. And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension.
If you want to ensure that children can see their parent, then they can be moved from one parent to another.
We are their parents and original.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon?
Wherever possible, this should be kept to a minimum.
I do but beg the little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Oh, set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was aborted at my order, but she being mortal of that boy did die. So for her sake, I do rear up her boy, and for her sake, I do not part with him.
The way ahead is hard. You should not be meeting family members who do not live in your home.
Okay, we are now joined by Holly Surtees-Smith, a recent graduate from Mountview, and director Michelle Payne, who, together with Abigail Matthews, created Wednesday's episode from Much Ado About Nothing. Welcome, guys. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Michelle, I just wanted to know, how was it for you directing in this new format, and do you see this as a possibility for particularly rehearsals going forward post-COVID?
Yeah, I think starting off, I was really nervous because obviously you know how you hold a room, and holding a virtual room is very different to holding a physical room. So yeah, it's like what you can do as a director to make sure that you're still engaging and you're still communicating your ideas through a little box. It was a right challenge actually, but really good fun. I think rehearsal wise, this is probably quite a good format going forward, as long as you're taking breaks and like are aware of the format. I think you have to be really aware how we're communicating over Zoom and how much energy it's actually taking to communicate in that way. But yeah, I think definitely if we can't get in a room just yet, this is quite a nice alternative. I've been teaching a lot over Zoom, which is really fun, and finding new ways of working. So yeah, it's like finding new skills.
Yeah, it takes a lot in your imagination to think about everyone's energy levels on the call, I suppose, rather than being able to know body language and things like that. It's a bit different. I wanted to ask you, Holly, we saw Abigail Matthews obviously playing Hotspur in Series 1, which you may have seen. What was it like for you to work with Abigail on this scene?
It was like absolutely incredible. She was so patient. She was really, really like creative, and she really helped me because it was kind of, for me, like being a recent grad, this is kind of the first thing that was kind of like professional for me. So I came into it like the same as Michelle. I was so nervous and I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, oh my god, I'm working with a director, like an actor in the industry, I don't know what I'm going to do. But both Abigail and Michelle were so welcoming and have like really, really restored my faith in the industry, and especially nowadays. I think especially working with Abigail, like because I struggled a bit with some of the text, and she was really, really patient and really helped me, and so did Michelle. Yeah, it was brilliant.
That's awesome. Well, you certainly brought it to this scene, and I'm really glad your faith in the industry is back, because hopefully with a bit more of that, we'll all make it through together. So let's go to the video. This is Holly Surtees-Smith and Abigail Matthews in Much Ado About Nothing, directed by Michelle Payne.
Oh! Lady Beatrice. Oh, have you wept all this while?
Yea, and I will weep a while longer.
Oh, I will not desire that.
You have no reason, I do it freely.
Surely, I do believe your fair cousin is wronged.
How much might the man deserve of me that would right her?
Is there any way to show such friendship?
A very even way, but no such friend.
May a man do it?
It is a man's office, but not yours.
I do love nothing in the world so well as you.
Oh, it's not that strange.
As strange as the thing I know not.
It were as possible for me to say that I loved nothing so well as you. I confess nothing, nor I deny nothing. I'm sorry for my cousin.
By my sword, Beatrice, thou lovest me.
Do not swear and eat it.
I will swear by it that you love me, and I will make him eat it that says I love not you.
Will you not eat your word?
With no sauce that could be devised to it. I protest, I love thee.
Oh, why then? God forgive me.
What offence, sweet Beatrice?
You have stayed me in a happy hour. I was about to protest. I loved you.
And do it with all thy heart.
I love you with so much of my heart that none is left to protest.
Come, bid me do anything for thee.
Not for the wide world.
You kill me to deny it.
Well, tarry, sweet Beatrice.
I am gone. Though I am here, there is no love in you. Nay, I pray you, let me go.
Beatrice!
In faith, I will go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with mine enemy.
Tarry, good Beatrice. By this hand, I love thee.
Use it for my love some other way than swearing by it.
Think you in your soul the Count Claudio hath wronged Hero?
Yea, as sure as I have a thought or a soul.
Enough. I am engaged. I will challenge him. I will kiss your hand.
And so I leave you. By this hand, Claudio shall render me a dear account. As you hear of me, so think of me.
Go, comfort your cousin. I must say she is dead.
And so, farewell.
Okay, we are now joined by director Scott LaCrasse, who directed our next scene from A Winter's Tale.
Scott, I know you're familiar with directing Shakespeare, particularly for an open-air audience. So how did you find having to adjust your style slightly for this new audience?
It was actually quite freeing. I thought it might feel a little bit restrictive at first because it was something that was not as familiar to me. But I actually found it very liberating because you had to approach the text in a very different way. And using the camera became an added element that just presented more possible. I looked at it as more of the possibilities as opposed to the challenges presented. So yeah, it was really exciting. It was a first for me and something I really enjoyed.
Amazing. Well, I think we really loved the kind of the various combinations. We had Johnny Wolfe, who did Richard III for us in series 1, but has also worked at the Barn Theatre as well as bringing in James Berman, new graduate. And while this is Comedy Week, it was it's not necessarily one of our more comedic pieces. And do you find it strange because Winter's Tale is approached as this problem play? And do you find that fits the narrative quite well? Because it's not a pure kind of comedy, is it?
No, it's not pure comedy, and actually something that it's very bleak at points. It's very, very bleak, and in our exploration of it, we didn't focus on the comedy because I guess thinking about the kind of time that we live in and some of the themes that were coming from the play through reading it, that felt like more of a focus. So it is an interesting piece because I think it is problematic, but also that's what's wonderful about it when you try and unlock the play. and finds that the balance of the comedy along with the sort of much weightier stuff.
Amazing. Well, this is Jonathan Wolfe and James Berman in The Winter's Tale, directed by Scott Lacrasse.
I am like you, they say. What, Camillo there?
Aye, my good lord.
Camillo, this great sir will yet stay longer.
You had much ado to make his anchor hold. When you cast out, it still came home.
Didst note it?
He would not stay at your petitions, made his business more material.
How came it, Camillo, that he did stay?
At the good queen's entreaty.
At the queen's, be it. Good should be pertinent, but so it is not. Was this taken by any understanding pate but thine? The lower masses perchance are to this business purblind say.
Business, my lord. I think most understand Bohemia stays here longer.
Huh?
Stays here longer.
Aye, but why?
To satisfy your highness in the entreaties of our most gracious mistress.
That's past doubt you have, or your eyeglass is thicker than a cuckold's horn or herd. For to a vision so apparent, rumour cannot be mute, or thought, for cogitation resides not in that man that does not think. My wife is slippery. That thou wilt confess, or else be impudently negative to have nor eyes, nor ears, nor thought, then say my wife's a hobby horse, deserves a name as rank as any flax wench that puts to before her troth plight. Say it, justify it.
Good my lord, be cured of this diseased opinion and betimes, for 'tis most dangerous.
This brat is none of mine. It is the issue of Polixenes. Hence with it, and together with the dam, commit them to the fire.
It is yours, and might we lay the old proverb to your charge? So like you, 'tis the words. Behold, my lord, although the print be little, the whole matter and copy of the father.
Now have thee burnt!
I care not. It is an heretic that makes the fire, not she which burns in it. I'll not call you tyrant, but this most cruel visage of your queen, not able to produce more accusation than your own weak-hinged fancy, something savours of tyranny, and will ignoble make you, yea, scandalous to the world.
Out of the chamber, were I a tyrant, where were her life? Huh? She does not call me so if she did know me one. Away!
That's your babe, my lord. 'Tis yours. Love, send her a better guiding spirit. Good Camillo, who hast the memory of Hermione I know and honour. Oh, that ever I had squared me to thy counsel. Then, even now I might have looked upon my queen's full eyes, have taken treasure from her lips.
And left them more rich for what they yielded.
Thou speakest truth. No more such wives. Therefore, no wife. One worse and better used would make her sainted spirit again possess a corpse, and on this stage where we offenders mourn, appear soul-vexed, and begin, why to me?
Had she such power, she had just cause.
She had, and would incense me to murder her I married.
I should so. Were I the ghost that walked, I'd bid you mark her eye, and tell me for what dull part in it you chose her. Then I'd shriek, that even your ear should rift to hear me, and the words that followed should be, remember mine.
Stars. Stars and all eyes else dead cold.
Fear thou no wife. I'll have no wife, Camillo.
Will you swear never to marry but by my free leave?
Never. So be blessed my spirit.
And good ye gods, bear witness to his oath.
Now, we are delighted to welcome Charlotte Ware, who we saw earlier this week in The Tempest. Charlotte, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm not so bad, not so bad.
Good.
I wanted to ask about the bath. I once filmed a music video in the bath, but that's a story for another time. But talk to us about your decision there. Talk to us about the figures in the bath. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so it was mostly Scott. Scott kind of sent a little voice note and was like, I had this idea. How do you feel about getting in a bath? And it was like, fine, that's fine. So it was kind of, so the figures in the bath, you play in the bath when you're a young child, and it's kind of about being so bored and alone that you just do weird things. Like, when you're on your own, you do the weirdest things and you don't think about it, and how long you've been on your own for, and what that results in you doing. But yeah, but filming in the bath was weird. I dropped my phone in the bath.
Ouch.
Once. Yeah, not good. But it's all right. It was all right. Invested in a little waterproof pouch in the end, so it's a good idea.
Fully waterproof, fully bath prepared now for any eventuality in the future.
Exactly. But yeah, it was really fun. I don't think I'll probably ever do Shakespeare in the bath again, but it was fun. Yeah, it was great.
You never know. You never say
who
never
knows?
when it
Who
comes
knows?
to a bathtub. This is Charlotte Ware in The Tempest, directed by Scott Ellis.
Headlines today. Scientists warn relaxing lockdown is still too risky.
Britain is likely to keep its COVID-19 lockdown in place into next month.
Britain is racing for its nationwide lockdown to be extended for another 3 weeks.
One certainty tonight, the shutdown goes on.
This lockdown locked in for a while longer.
Down with the topmast. Yeah, lower, lower. A cry within, a plague upon this howling.
What do you hear? Shall we give o'er and drown? Have you a mind to sink?
A pox o' your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, incharitable dog.
Hang her, hang, you whoreson, insolent noisemaker. We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
I'll warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell and as leaky as an unstanched wench.
All lost! To prayers, all lost!
Let's all sink with the king. Let's take leave of him. Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground. Long heath, brown furs, anything. The will's above be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now in the beak, now in the waist, the deck. In every cabin I flamed amazement.
My brave spirit. But are they, Ariel? Safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments not a blemish, but fresher than before.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there's more work. How now, Moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Well, there you have it. That was Comedy Week, and we hope you have enjoyed it. And here is a sneak peek as to what is in store for you next week when we bring you a plethora of female creatives from Bard from the Barn.
Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy man away.
Hast thou died? The sense of death is most in apprehension. And the poor beetle that we tread upon in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
For thou hast made the happy earth thine hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. And thou unfit for any place but hell.
You know I say nothing to him, for he understands not me, nor I him.